Well, week 2 of the round of 16 Champions League knockout round ties, and perhaps the plum tie, arguably Chelsea and Barcelona. First leg at Stamford Bridge. The odds to advance, according to the SBI, rather lopsided. Barcelona, 84%. Chelsea given just a 16% chance. Remember, that's to go through to the quarter-final. First leg, though, in London. There's been some classic encounters in the Champions League over the years between these two. Ali, let's start with you. Your thoughts? Are we going to see anything like we saw in the Ronaldinho era or the Iniesta last-minute equal? Are we going to see anything like that?
No. So you say in order for it to be a classic encounter, you have to have classic teams. I don't think this is a classic version of Chelsea, and it's difficult to make a case for a team that has had the sort of season that they've had, where everything seems to go a step forward and 2 steps back. And whatever is happening with Antonio Conte, that is also translating into poor performances. And when you look at Barcelona, they seem to be the favorites in this competition. And you have Lionel Messi playing well. You have a team that knows exactly what this stage feels like, what all of this, what the expectations are. I expect Barcelona to go through.
They are playing well, Paul. What are they, 23 games unbeaten? But should they be that amount in terms of the favourites? 84%?
It kills me to say it, but yes, I think it's absolutely right. Yeah, look, a few months ago, Barcelona were not quite right defensively. Now they've got the defensive side of the game sorted out. Going forward, they seem to have worked out what system is best for the group of players that they've got. To tag on what Ali's just spoken about, which Chelsea is going to play in this game, we don't really know which Chelsea is going to turn up. Whereas we know which Barcelona side is going to turn up. So, as far as that's concerned, I don't really think this is going to be close because of the great man up front, Lionel Messi, who can turn a game on its head. I just don't think that Chelsea defensively can handle what's going to be thrown at them.
But Chelsea have the great man up front in Olivier Giroud, Steve, surely.
What? They're definitely done and dusted. No, listen, this isn't a classic Barcelona either, but at the same time, it's a Barcelona that doesn't, or it hasn't been given a lot away. You add that to the way Chelsea are playing, man, it's tough to even think that Chelsea's got any hope of
comfort for Chelsea fans. Surely.
No, I wouldn't put a penny on it, and I haven't spoken to anybody else who would put a penny on Chelsea either.
So no one,
Don't see
even a Chelsea lead.
What is it with you? You got something writing on this?
What impressed you most, Steve Nicol? I'll start with you. Which performance, which team, which player, perhaps?
I'm not sure impressed would be the word, but the fact that Dortmund came back the way they did. You know, defensively, they've definitely got some problems. They've got some issues. But going forward, they seem to be getting everything right, scoring plenty of goals. You got Schürrle, who has been disappointing since he went to Dortmund. But in the last, 3-4 weeks, he's really come onto a game. He's assisting, and he scored a great goal in this game. And, of course, the biggest surprise of all has to be Batshuayi. Coming on loan from Chelsea. And the guy, he's got 5 goals in 3 games.
Well, this is exactly what he's done. I mean, the contrast, Stevie, why?
You know, when you move to a new club, you kind of get rid of all the cobwebs from the struggles of your previous club. On this occasion, for Batshuayi, it's Chelsea, and you have a new lease of life. And of course, when you play in a side in Dortmund who love to go forward, will create plenty of opportunities, then the chances are there, and he's taking them.
But his record wasn't too bad. I mean, 25 games and 10 goals. It's not
and most of those appearances off the bench as well.
Yeah, so, you know, it just didn't work out. I think Stevie's spot on. I think that you get that new lease of life, you've got something to prove, and he had an absolutely breakout first game. It was terrific.
We always hear this argument that, it's the Bundesliga, it's a step down from the Premier League, Ali. But really, is it? Is it?
No, you don't always hear those arguments.
Maybe not from you.
No, those arguments are coming from people that are big fans of the Premier League, and nothing ever happens outside of the Premier League, and everything that happens outside of the Premier League is simply not good enough. The truth of the matter is that this is a guy that had no confidence in Chelsea, and he had reason to be not confident because anytime that he had an opportunity to play, Antonio Conte would say, Batshuayi, I'm not so sure. I'll play Eden Hazard down the middle. I'd rather do that rather than put an out-and-out striker. And so when you do get those opportunities and you're not able to come through, then those levels of confidence continue to go down. Now you're at Dortmund. It's different. You feel good. Everybody is counting on you to score the goals. You feel good about yourself. You're wearing SpongeBob SquarePants and Batman suits and all these other things. And they're all working, and it's all cute because you're scoring goals.
Yeah.
And so everything just kind of goes together, but it's tied up to one thing and one thing only, and that is you have to be confident in order to play at a high level.
Any other performances that really impressed you in the Europa League before we move to the Champions League?
The expectation is for Atletico Madrid to do really well in this competition because of the disappointment of what went on in Champions League. And so I expect Atletico Madrid to continue to advance in Europa League, but then they go into Copenhagen, they go down 1-0, and they put 4 past Copenhagen after that. So you see a reaction by a team that I think is given the importance that this tournament requires for themselves. Because they come from that disappointment in Champions League, Europa League becomes a priority for them.
Julian, are they getting a little carried away, the English media, by this conflict between Pogba and his manager?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. But what's for sure, and that's no news really, is that there's tensions between Mourinho and Pogba. Things are not really going well. I think the issue is that Pogba feels that Mourinho is not using him in the way he should be, which means like in a 3 midfield and him on that left-hand side. Mourinho feels that Pogba in that 2 midfield where they play right now is not doing enough. He's not putting a hard shift enough. You know, that the attitude is not right. So I'm not sure how you saw this one up. I don't think Paul Pogba regrets coming back to Manchester United, despite what L'Equipe is reporting on Thursday. And I don't think he wants to leave either. He's just at the moment, he doesn't really feel happy. I don't think Mourinho is happy with him either. So this is an issue. He's still a very important player for United, but they need to sort that out between them.
Clashes, disputes, call them what you want, between Jose Mourinho and his players generally only end one way, don't they? Where's this going?
You know, this is a tough one. You've paid over 100 million for a player, and you have a manager who you know has a reputation for winning, but you know has a reputation now for upsetting his star players. This depends on where the board see this going. It could be one of them has to go. At the moment, if one has to go, it would have to be Pogba.
Because Mourinho ain't going to back down, is he, Ali?
First of all, let me just say, I'm sure that Real Madrid said exactly that to the papers. We'll give Pog a home. That's exactly how they refer to Paul Pogba. Look, it's going to attract a lot of attention, but right now I just think that Pogba's not playing well, and he's going to get that attention that perhaps he doesn't deserve.
Now then, Xhaka's power rankings are out. He might not be here, but he still delivers.
Where is Xhaka?
Really?
No wonder he's hiding after looking at that.
Well, let's have a look. The new entrants, Real Madrid, Spurs, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool in with a bullet at number 5.
Liverpool beat Southampton and then they beat Porto.
Yeah.
Killed them.
Real Madrid scored 1,000 goals at the weekend and then beat PSG, and they're at 10 and Liverpool's at 5. How is that?
You mentioned PSG. Didn't they just lose? And somehow they stay at the same level?
They stay at the same level.
Well, they're
They don't
still
drop.
6 places above the
Tottenham-
team they just lost to.
Tottenham new into the top 10, having a fantastic result against Juve. They're below Napoli
So Manchester
and
City...
Atletico.
I don't know. Manchester City destroyed Basel and they go down a
Yes.
level.
Well, of course.
Tottenham drew, didn't they? They didn't win.
Hey, let me tell you something. We haven't seen Shaq in who knows how long. He went up to
Still
Trinidad and
sending
Tobago
this in. He's-
and
you
do
could
this
claim he's
commercial or
mailing it in,
whatever.
but he's sending
We
it in.
haven't seen him since.
He got
What
one,
is this?
He got
This-
one thing right. Porto dropped out of the top 10. There's a shot.
He clearly wasn't impressed with Napoli fielding a B team either. They dropped 2
Let me
spots.
tell you something. I can guarantee you he did not watch that game. 100% he did
I
not
think
watch
he
that
might
game.
have done. I
Hey, by the
might have
way,
done.
there wasn't many people watched that game.
Yes.
Did you see the stadium? There was nobody in it.
In Napoli or otherwise. Come on, man.
He always says European competition is weighted more heavily, so, you know.
Are you making the case for him?
No,
You tell him
I'm
to
not.
come over
The
here and come back
Europa
to work.
League. The
Tell him to
Europa
do
League.
that.
Napoli.
It is a post-Champions League, Europa League edition of Extra Time here. I can tell you there are more people in this studio than there were in the Napoli stadium.
That's
tonight
very
in the
true.
Europa League.
Very true.
By 1, I think, officially. I don't know where they all were, these Napoli fans.
Well, not here.
Well, definitely not here. Let me put my glasses on to read this first question for you, Steve. Mo Salah, over or under 45 goals this year in all competitions. He has 30 so far. Taylor wants to know, can he beat 45?
So there's 11
needs
Premier
another
League
15
games.
goals.
You've got 13, 36.
Yeah.
There's another 11 league games to go.
Uh-oh, you're going into math. That's
Maybe,
not your
yeah.
strong
How
point.
many
Leave it.
It's not my
Leave
strong
it.
point. This could be tricky.
Leave it.
Carry the one.
36. We need. No.
Is this modern math? Is
No.
it modern arithmetic?
I'm not sure what it is, but
I've worked out the.
You can't do it. Well, how many
Fanny
more?
Thagger's theorem with 30 and 36, with 11 Premier League left, with 7.
How many Champions
League?
League games are you putting
7.
into that mix? 7?
Huh?
What?
Well, he's not going to play in the second leg against Porto, is he?
yeah, he is.
You think he will be? Oh,
He wants to score
Get
goals.
5 in that
That's
game.
going to be the one. That's going to be the one.
That's going to let him down.
He's going to end up with 44.
All right.
And if he played in that game, he'd have 45.
It's been unbelievable this season. It's
So your point of
ridiculous.
modern math, it's valid. I have no idea what they're teaching in schools now.
No.
No, my kids bring in homework,
And you can't help him with
and
it.
I'm
No,
like,
I'm the
wait a
same
minute,
way.
I'm gonna get to the answer
Yeah.
in the way that I was taught, but I have no idea how you get to the answer because this is impossible.
Did you really know how to get to the answer?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Hey, Matt.
All right.
Hey, just use a calculator.
Do we believe it?
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
You got to show work. You got to show your work.
More Salah, not bad.
We might need a calculator to keep count with Batshuayi's goals after his move to Dortmund.
Was that segue?
Yes, that is what you call a segue.
Well done.
I'll tell you what, hey, you've done that before, eh?
Professional.
Mr. Consistent is the provider of this question. Could Batshuayi duplicate his newfound Dortmund success in the Premier League? Well, he just left the Premier League. Now the question is, could he duplicate his success if he ever went back, I guess? But
Well, he's shown at Dortmund that with a bit of love, a bit of,
playing helps, yeah.
well, getting on the field to start with helps.
Yeah.
You know, people around him actually trying to feed him, trying to put him in positions to score. And then if he goes to a team in the Premier League
Yeah.
who are going to do that for him, then maybe.
You remember, Ali, when we went to open up that stadium in Minneapolis? And
Yes.
Batshuayi was the shining star of the night for Antonio Conte. and his
Yes.
fresh
Who's
first few
he
days.
playing against?
He was playing against AC Milan, so I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I just have fond memories of him and his potential.
What I will, okay, look, I think Michy Batshuayi is a good striker. I don't think he's an elite striker, and he's showing that at Dortmund where he's going to score goals. But when he has the opportunities, Chelsea, it didn't go so well. But let's not make the comparisons as to well he can do it in the Bundesliga, but not in the Premier League because he's not that kind of player and all this because. We're very quickly to pass judgment on players that don't quite pan out right away in the Premier League. They go elsewhere, they do well, and then they come back and you have Mo Salah.
Yeah.
You have Kevin De Bruyne. Players that were discarded as, nah, they're not good enough for the Premier League.
And by the way, not just discarded from the Premier League, discarded by Chelsea in particular.
Again.
What is it, Paul? Why is it Chelsea players?
Well, there's something in the atmosphere. Everything that the lads have said about you get into an environment where, as Stevie says, you're getting the supply, you're getting the environment, as Ali says, where the coach is believing in it. You're on the field, you know that whether it's going to go for you, whether it's not going to go for you, on that particular day, you're going to get some time, you're going to get time to grow. Every striker goes through a rough period. At Chelsea, 25 games, 10 goals, it's not a horrible rate, and he wasn't starting that many matches. So I think when you put all the factors together that the lads have said, you know, Dortmund have got a really good deal out of this. I don't know whether they can turn it into a permanent deal, but they've got a really good deal because of all the things the lad said.
Are Dortmund going to win the Europa League? And if not, who will win the Europa League? Asks Football News.
I'm going to say they don't win it because defensively they are a bit of a shambles. You know, not just in the Europa League, but in the Bundesliga as well. They give up so many goals. So that would be my reason that they won't win it.
So who will?
Athletic.
Atletico Madrid. They look impressive, don't they?
I just think the way that they went about it. When you look at the quality that they turned out today against Copenhagen, you know, you look at Griezmann, the service coming in from for the goal, for the header. But they've just got too much quality. And I don't think Simeone will let them drop. So
You're not picking Arsenal.
No, I'm not picking Arsenal.
Okay.
No. Well, it's a long way to go.
Yes.
Round of 32.
Atletico Madrid.
When you told me it was around 32 today, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they've got a lot of rounds. to
Well,
get
then I started to watch the games and they were so bad, then I believed it.
Yeah.
Because it's not enjoyable.
So you're
Two
a
votes,
believer.
2 votes for Atleti. Are you going a different way, Stevie?
No,
3
Atleti,
for
yeah.
Atleti. They're the team to beat.
Well, listen, you look at the difference, right? Napoli put out a reserve team,
Yeah.
and the Atleti pretty much put out the first team. So that tells you who wants to do what. So it'd be tough not to go with Atleti.
Finally, from the Europa League to the Champions League, Ronaldo, the greatest ever in the Champions League? Question mark. The GOAT. Are we ready to say that?
Well,
He scored the most goals, but is he the greatest ever? The greatest of Champions League.
Why do we have to get into this sort of conversations? Because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you that I think it's Lionel Messi.
Right.
But that's not acknowledging the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo has been outstanding in Champions League, has been outstanding in his career across the board. But I just prefer Lionel Messi.
101 Champions League goals.
No, it's
Real Madrid.
remarkable. And you know, the way that he stepped up the other day, you know, maybe a little bit fortunate for the second goal, but it doesn't matter. He's in the right place at the right time to score that goal. Look, tremendous amount of pressure on him because everybody's looking to him to be the go-to guy. And even though we've all said on the show that he's dropped off a little bit, I think people throughout the world think that he's dropped off a little bit. But Ronaldo dropping off by his levels is, you know, is decent to everybody else's capability. So I'm a Lionel Messi guy myself. So you know, he's always been my number one. But obviously Ronaldo is right in the frame.
Is this exactly the same conversation, the best ever, Ronaldo and Messi? Is it the same question?
It is really.
Who's the best?
Listen,
ever
if you want to start nailing it down to, you know, who's the greatest goal scorer in the Champions League, then the answer is Ronaldo because the stats tell you that. But if you start opening it up to a choice of who's your favourite player that's ever played, then that's a completely different question.
All right. I think Arsenal may have a run in them, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Until they meet Atleti.
if he plays that team, if he plays the team he played today, do you think they've got a chance?
How about an Arsenal Atleti
Oh, you mean
final?
that would be the first team?
Hey, I'm going to take. How dare you? How dare you? Insulting, Mr. Nicholl.
We'll be with you Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News to preview the weekend ahead.
Talking Spurs with Paul Mariner and the ascendancy that they have had since Maurizio Pochettino took over in May 2014, especially over the last couple of years. And if they can get him tied down on a new long-term deal as well, that's a win-win.
Massive. They've got to do it. I just think that he's a perfect fit for this football club. The development of the players, young players coming through. You know, if you just think about he's lost Walker, he's not really missed a beat. You know, maybe a slight downgrade, but the way that he develops players, the way that he plays very, very attractive football, it's a must that they sign him.
As we take a look at what he's done at Spurs since he took over, and his win ratio is pretty decent at 55%. Why has he been able to be as good as he has been with them?
I think what he's done is, as I said earlier, developed players, signed the right players, been able to, you know, find a player in Europe and just place that player like Davinson Sanchez, goes right into the back four. Alderweireld's been out, not really missed too much of a beat. You look at the development of Dele Alli and Harry Kane, but just the way that he picks the right system for the players that are in the football club.
If he was to win a Champions League or a Premier League, he could go down in Spurs folklore forevermore. However, I want to play devil's advocate here. We all have ambitions in life, and if Real Madrid or Barca or someone like that keep calling for Pochettino, if you were in his shoes, what would you do?
Well, I suppose the chairman's got to put a massive buyout clause in his contract, number one. But look, when the massive clubs like Real Madrid and Barca come knocking, it's very difficult for anybody to turn it down. But having said that, Pochettino and his staff, they look as though they're getting a new stadium. They're building something really special as far as the squad's concerned. He's got his rotation right. It's going to be very, very tempting, obviously, but sometimes you jump from the frying pan into the fire. You've got to be very careful, especially in management circles.
But we're not trying to get rid of Pochettino.
No, not at all.
From Spurs.
We're great admirers of him.
Of course, we're just saying, look, the possibility that they were to come in. I just think there's a fit here between Spurs and Pochettino as well. Now, like, he doesn't need the money, right? He's rich enough and he'll get whatever he wants. But if he gets a new deal at Spurs, it's a win-win for both because he's getting more cash. As you talked about the buyout clause as well, Spurs will get plenty if he goes. So all they're doing with this is they're safeguarding their future and ensuring if he does jump ship, then both parties get paid.
And also, what goes hand in glove here is the fact that can they keep Eriksen, can they keep Dele Alli, can they keep Harry Kane? It's a big ask, as you say, if Real Madrid come knocking for Harry Kane and they offer ridiculous amounts of money, how strong is Daniel Levy going to be in the board? So it's a bit of a catch-22. If Pochettino signs and then they sell all the players, which I don't think they will do, he most definitely will not want that. He wants to keep his best pieces and say to the players and the board, look, we've got something special that we can build.
Because the thing we're forgetting as well, especially with the new round of TV rights coming up, is that English football no longer is the one that has to kowtow to Spanish football. There's just as much money available in England, if not more, than there is in Spain. I'm going to start today's transfer rater with Paul Mariner's former club, Arsenal. Jack Wilshere to Juventus. What do you make of that?
Eyebrow raiser. Number one.
Yeah.
Eyebrow raiser. Look, here's the thing with Jack at the moment. I don't know where he's going to play for us. He certainly can't play a 6 or an 8. And he's not going to get in the 10 role.
Right.
There's too many players in front of him.
So how's he going to get for Juventus?
Wait a minute. Just cool your jets. I'm looking at the player.
Okay.
I think for Jack Wilshere's career, I think he's got to get out of his environment, get out of himself, and go and give it a go. Have a go at Juventus and prove to people that yes, you can play regularly and yes, you can get in the side. Get in there, Jack.
Okay, so if you've got him at Juventus, for example,
right.
What about Emre Can staying at Liverpool?
But apparently
he was going to Juventus.
Apparently it's a done deal. Apparently he is going to Juventus. Look, who knows about it? Is that a good move for Emre Can?
To stay at Liverpool or to go to Juventus?
To go to Juventus is a good move. To stay at Liverpool is a good move.
Would he get a game ahead of Jack Wilshere?
He's a different player.
No, he's a different.
Well, what are you asking the question for? Get in there.
Is this a done deal?
This is fantastic. I'll tell you what, I cannot wait when I'm commentating on MLS games to commentate on this lad. Please make it a done deal. Yes, get in there.
Do you think he'd like a trip to Gillette Stadium?
Of course he would.
You think so? Okay.
Well, it might be in his contract, can't play on
Fellaini to Besiktas.
Again, everything I'm reading, everything I hear, he's signed a pre-contract, done deal. Hey, go, baby, go.
Sure. Is this like an exodus from Old Trafford to Chelsea now? I mean, okay. So
here's the puzzle. Here's the puzzle.
Marcus Alonso, right? Their new signing as well that they got from Italy. They're both playing that left-hand side. Where does he fit in?
Right. Well, here's the puzzle with this one. Sure, 6 months ago, yes, you understand that Mourinho wasn't particularly keen on him. He wasn't keen on Mourinho. So you think, okay, this makes sense. But now that he's in the good graces now of Mourinho for a couple of weeks, why all of a sudden has this popped up? Is he a fantastic left back? Yes. Do I want to play regularly because he's an English player? Absolutely, I do. I can't see it. Miss.
You know what gets me with this one as we end? Twice Jose Mourinho has intentionally come out in the pre-match press conference and praised Luke Shaw, and he hasn't played him the next game. First one was when Ashley Young returned from suspension, and that one was at the weekend when Young started again.
Well, don't. That's another story. Don't get me started on that.
At least you've got someone staying at Manchester United. That's Paul's transfer rater for today. Going to start the FA Cup predictor along with Paul Mariner with a disclaimer, Mr. Mariner, for both of us. It depends which team Premier League sides field. That gets us out of trouble.
Well, look at the first one. Look, for these two teams, the Premier League's gone to an 11-game season. Absolutely, right?
Do they want to be in the FA Cup?
That is exactly. No, they don't. They don't. And this is it. So this could be a highly entertaining game. Because my mate's their assistant manager, I'll go with the Albion.
because our producer is one of them.
Because I've got no confidence in that prediction, by the way.
Likewise.
This one I have. At Manchester United, I think that this is something that they're going to be focusing on. I've got United winning.
Okay, I'll go with you on
Ooh.
that one. Good story, Coventry, with everything they've been through as well.
Yeah.
1987,
I'm playing
John.
decent.
Yeah, 1987, John Sillett, Keith Houchins, Diamond Header against Spurs, the FA Cup team. Can they surprise Brighton?
They can surprise Brighton, yeah. It depends what Chris Hughton does with his side, because he's had a little bit of a resurgence in the Premier League. Obviously, that's what he wants to stay. Again, it goes with the teams. I'm going to go for a little upset here, Matt. I'm going to take Cov to go and do it.
I can see it going to a replay.
Yeah.
Brighton, of course, and Smith must score. Remember that one? And he didn't. I think they'll eventually get through. It might take a replay, though. I'll do your one for you. And I think Spurs will win that. Now, realistically, what do you reckon? Have they got any chance, Rochdale?
Well, there's no way that he's going to put his golden players out on that surface. He's already moaning about it. Look, fantastic result in midweek. I just don't think that he needs to risk injury. I think they're going to have enough. What they've got in the tank, Tottenham.
Here's one for you.
It's going to be difficult for him.
If you're Pochettino and Kane says, I want to play, I want to get as many goals as I can, because he's played in previous rounds against, when they've made like 8 changes, he's still played. What would you say to Harry Kane?
Not today, son.
No? Not today, son?
Nope.
You're not having it?
Nope.
Okay, you are going for Spurs, but I just thought we'd have with that one. Man City, they could put the reserves out and probably still win this one as well.
And they will.
But
They will.
remember, FA Cup final 6 years ago.
Yeah,
6 years ago.
exactly. And I backed against him. I still owe Derek Ray some money on the back of that. But look, it's got to be City, as you say, Marco. Whatever he turns out, they'll beat Will.
You do realise if it was the other way around, you would never see that money from Derek Ray, the Scotsman. That's today's FA Cup predictor, with a disclaimer as well.